Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Good morning. Welcome to the Handicappers Report, taking a look at the action for Saturday, March 12th. Seth, Merrow, and Brian Nadeau. Brian's going to take a look at a little Gulfstream. I'll take a look at a little Aqueduct. Of course, it's a big day over at Tampa Bay Downs with the Tampa Bay Derby. Brian, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Seth, and everybody back home. Hopefully everybody's safe and sound. I know some impending weather or already got there, what have you. So hopefully everybody's good. But yeah, I got another 12 race card here at Gulfstream. Looking forward to it. A couple stakes, including a graded stakes.
Yeah, very good. And, I say Tampa Bay Derby this afternoon, but I'll go back and get some of your thoughts from last weekend. Merrow, Simplification, Forbidden Kingdom, even over at Turfway, Tis the Bomb. Some nice 3-year-old action last week. And I thought, as compared to what we saw earlier this year on the 3-year-old trail, I thought the 3 performances on Saturday were notable. They all popped into the 90s as far as buyer figures, which so far this year is a little notable. I thought they were all potentially horses to pay attention to going on to the Derby.
Yeah, I mean, Simplification, it backed up that big second in the Holy Bull when he blew the star, and we all thought he was not need to lead, but a speed horse. And then in hindsight, Seth, that might have been the best thing that ever happened to him, because now Antonio Sano knows, hey, we don't have to have a horse that needs to be in front, and he was very impressive. Obviously, we know what happened in the Fountain Youth. Thank goodness horses and jockeys are got out of that unscathed. But yeah, I thought Simplification answered the bell and was really impressive. And now he goes forward to the Florida Derby, where White Abarrio is going to come back after after skipping the Fountain of Youth, and it should be exciting. And the culmination, that's 3 weeks from today, of the championship meet. So certainly that was impressive down here. You mentioned Merrow, 3 for 3, right? And he's still got to prove the 2 turns, and he hasn't done it yet, but he's running fast too. 96 for Simplification. And as you kind of said, that figure plays right now, Seth. That's when you're talking about early March, that's a legitimate number as we start moving that way and progressing to the first Saturday in May. So there's a lot of excitement down here at in Hollandale Beach. And I know Antonio Sano. Listen, just to take the tangent a little further, I just think Antonio is a cookie cutter trainer for the most part. I know you've talked to him with Gunnevera. He was on Saturdays at the Spa with me with Gunnevera a few years back. But for the most part, Antonio's the day in, day out trainer that make the game go round. And my point is, everybody is pretty happy Antonio's back on the Triple Crown Trail with a really, really good horse. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So that was good to see too.
Yeah, and speaking of that, over at Tampa this afternoon, Eddie Barker with Shipsational, the New York bred. I think same kind of a situation, and Jay Pribman had a great profile of him and talked about the horse in the DRF this week that I would tell people to look at. Another trainer notable as he's looking forward to a pretty good season, and it played into it. Again, with the Fountain of Youth situation was a little unfortunate, but the undercard, Bill Mott continues to go very well. Olympiad a few weeks ago, Speaker's Corner. It's Bill Mott is looking pretty good in 2022.
Yeah, the list of horses that are better than Speaker's Corner is shrinking by the day. And to me, there might be one, and it might be Life is Good, and that's it. I think this horse is absolutely awesome. He's going to win Grade 1 races. This year, he does it the hard way. He just buries everybody and then keeps on running. And he did it again on Saturday. So I can't wait to see what's next. I haven't heard, but I have to believe the Met Mile is firmly on his radar. He is absolutely awesome for Bill Mott and Godolphin. I love him. I think he's such a cool horse. And again, he did it the hard way. He had to chase inside, duel inside, and no worries, just kind of laughed at them all and fried everybody and pulled clear late. So he is such a horse, Seth. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend down at Gulfstream and watching, and again, we're looking forward to getting down there for the Florida Derby in just a
Yeah.
few weeks' time. But let's talk about this weekend, and let's get underway with the 12 race card on Saturday afternoon at Gulfstream. Things will kick off in the opener with maiden 12.5 claimers scheduled on the synthetic at 1 1/16 miles. What do you see in race number 1?
Yeah, I'm not sure we broached this last week. We're back to a 105 post on the normal days, but today 12:35. Okay, so take note of that. We get the daylight, and I think that comes around on Sunday, but we've got longer days here to begin with, so we don't have to worry about it too much. First race, early pick 5, is a tough one. It's a spread race. 6, 9, 1, 4, 10. I'll give the one sheet selections. Long shot play of the day is Drinks on the Beach. I thought really woke up last time, Seth, with Lasix being added. Get 7 pounds from the rest of this field. Second off, a little bit of a layoff, and it's just a race there for the taking. So take a little shot at a price. Sonic Kitten for Safi and the Ramsey. Safi, 31%. Second out maidens. He's just potent. We have Lasix here too. I think this horse will take some beating. Down inside, Poetic Code has got solid form for that man. We mentioned Antonio Sano. I'll talk quickly. Summer Shandy. Then outside, Merrow. There's a lot going on in the opener. I think you need to spread a little bit, Seth.
All right, let's turn the page. Race number 2, bottomish level calendar condition claimers, again on the synthetic at 8.5 furlongs.
So I'm down inside with the 1 golden decision for Gustavo Delgado, who was a good third in the Fountain of Youth last weekend, and Tyler Gaffalione is here. Tyler's poised to have a huge day, Set, because everybody's out. A lot of people are out of town at Tampa, and Tyler stayed back. So golden decision from close range, has got proven form. We dropped from 16 to 8, and he was okay for 16. So now that we're in for 8, I think he's going to be pretty tough. Miracle Silver for Safi is certainly in the mix. We get the 7-pound Apprentice Morrison as well, and then till the end, Jorge Delgado. Solid form against better too. So there's some droppers in here that I think are going to be pretty tough, Seth. I'll quickly mention the veteran Ambassador Jim. He doesn't win a lot of races, but he usually makes his presence felt. 1-6-3-2. We kick off the early pick 4.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the Apprentice does down there. She's making a little noise in New York, and Rich Migliori did a little profile, a little interview with her, and then she headed to Florida. So it'll be interesting to see what she can do over the next few weeks down there. Third race at Gulfstream on Saturday. Maiden 12.5 claimers on the main track, 1-turn mile.
7-9 over the 6. Kenny McPreek's dropping a couple today, and both of them look really tough to beat. Holiday Princess is the first one. 2 maiden special weight starts to start the career, then for 35 last time. Now, if you don't like her, you're going to say, well, she hasn't done any running, and it's very fair. She's also been facing tons better than she meets here. I'll take her on the drop. Atomic Rose is maybe the little wild card here. Fausto Gutierrez is pretty solid with newcomers to his barn. Maiden special weight on debut at Tampa, where she completely blew the start and had no chance. Now she takes the huge drop, adds Lasix too. I'll put her in the mix underneath. And then Nobody's Secret. Claudio Gonzalez is just, man, he's overdue for a win. It hasn't happened yet. Nobody's Secret went well last time to be third. Now wheels back on very close rest. So, I think she's a player in here, but the barn is still knocking on the door and hasn't gotten through yet, Seth. So maybe you want to take a wait and see approach. Let's go 7-9-6 in the third.
Yeah, it's funny when you look at his stats, because I mentioned on the afternoon show, I've mentioned it over the last few weeks since he's run some horses down there. For people who aren't familiar, high percentage guy in the Mid-Atlantic in Maryland. Came down to Florida, and like you say, he's a little cool on the win end, but the horses are running okay. They're hitting the board, and eventually he'll break through. But I'm with you. There's kind of a wait and see until that happens, and it will happen certainly with that guy.
Yeah, 5-time champion trainer, I believe, at Laurel. So Claudio, knows the score, and he's just kind of finding his footing in South Florida.
Fourth race on Saturday. Maiden 12.5 claimers again. This time they will go 3/4 of a mile.
Well, here's another one of the McPeaks. 11, 12, 4, 9, and Benny the Book is run against maiden special weights in all 3 starts. Seth, Kenny's going back to Kentucky pretty soon. I don't know if he just doesn't want to bring this horse or what. In for 12.5 from a maiden special weight, and hasn't done a lot of running, as I talked about earlier, but wasn't horrific either. So hey, take note of it. It is what it is. In for 12.5. Todd's got one too. Celestial Gaze debuts maiden special weight. Runs for 50. 12.5 now. When's the last time you saw Todd run one for 12.5 maiden claimer? But they are the two best horses. You're allowed to wonder what they have, but they're the two best. Bourbon Over Ice is in the mix off the claim for Barboza. And I will say this for Bourbon Over Ice. Whereas Benny the Book and Celestial Glaze literally might not be any good, and we don't even know if they're 12.5 maiden claimers. Bourbon Over Ice is the house horse. He's supposed to be at this level, and now he goes off the claim for a 23% trainer off the claim. Victor Barboza, very, very sharp. So you could do worse than getting this one at what should be a square price, because the other two are going to be bet off the board. Inevitable Me off the claim for Gargan for a quarter, now runs for 25 after that no-show debut at even money for Dave Fox. Tread a little lightly there. I'll take the favorites, 11-12 over the 4-9.
Fifth race, we're at a starter allowance level of 16,000. They're going to go 2 turns on the synthetic mile and 70 yards.
5-1 over the 8. It's a middle pick 4 here as well. Smart spending. I mentioned Victor Barboza. He's right back here. This one looked good winning last time. Did take advantage of a pace meltdown, but I think that race is the defining race in here. And I think this Daughter of Flincher will be able to get it done. Down inside, Antigone, Jorge Delgado doing his thing, having another strong meet. It's interesting. This one was with Marty Drexler up at Woodbine, and Marty's here. His first winter in South Florida. He's done very, very well. This one pops back after the Woodbine races with Jorge Delgado. He's 32% with newcomers to the barn. So, not a big deal there. He knows what he's doing. And then outside, Serenade the Kitten. Rohan Crichton just keeps on keeping on. One off the claim on Friday after I think over a 1.5 layoff with a horse. And Serenade the Kitten, I think he's won 6 in a row off the claim set. It's crazy. He's like 45%. So, take that for what it's worth. He's a very, very sharp outfit that plays this game very, very well. Let's go 5-1 over the 8. And again, that kicks off a middle pick 4.
Sixth race, we're looking at maiden special weight runners. These are 3-year-olds scheduled on the turf course, 7.5 furlongs.
Not a lot of pedigree in this one. So I'm going to spread 5-1. 9-4-6. I talked about Danny Gargan in the last race. Well, here he is with Riot House. Wesley Ward had this one at Belmont. Hasn't been out since June, but Danny's 4 for 10 off this elongated layoff. We get to add Lasix too. I think that's a big deal. We stretch from 1 turn out to 2 turns. That's a big deal too. That race at Belmont when last seen was 4th, was a sharp effort. Faced Lucci, another WW, really rocket ship on debut. So Riot House maybe as a bigger, stronger 3-year-old gets the call here. We go down inside to the 1. Watasha for Chad. Didn't do any running on debut at 2-1. On the dirt sprinting at Saratoga going 6. Hasn't been seen since. Comes back with Lasix. Comes back at 2 turns. Come back from the 1 hole. 7 full out of the dam. Only one of them, Mark Caravan, was the only real runner, and he was all right. So there's a little bit of pedigree there. The posts are problematic for Kofu, who I do think is all right for being Cone. Analogy is a Pletcher firster. He's got 2 of them, as is Causing Mayhem. I don't know. Todd on debut going 2 turns on the turf set. That's kind of one of those spots where maybe you try to beat him, maybe you fade him a little bit.
The 8 in here, Dominant Destroyer, is interesting to me. Josie Carroll runner and Justin Stein, the Woodbine jockey, is going to ride. Now, it may just be, let's get a race in, and then we'll score with this one up at Woodbine a little bit later on. But at the big price, I think it's a little bit intriguing to me.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned this horse, Seth, because just, this horse, yes, and then as a whole, too, we're going to see these Woodbine outfits. Marty Drexler, I mentioned. Josie Carroll is at the top of the list. Who else is down here?
Roger Atfield.
Roger's been sparringly. Mike DePaulo, so I'm thinking you might start seeing some horses debuting down here, and you don't know what to make of them. Dominant Destroyer is one of them in that, could be live, but could be getting ready for Woodbine. Our friends up there just open up. I'm so excited for them. So regardless of how Dominant Destroyer or that kind of horse runs today, those are worth remembering next time, because they're going to have a big fitness edge when they get back up to Woodbine. Because don't forget, and as you know, I'm just making a broad statement here, the majority of the Woodbine horses really haven't run since December. So good point on your part.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue Gulfstream a little bit later on Aqueduct. Stay tuned.
Having trouble finding us? It's actually quite simple. Whether online or on your TV, it's never been easier to watch and wager on championship horse racing with Capital OTB. Simply log on to capitalotbbet.com. There you can watch our morning shows, live stream races, and wager on our state-of-the-art wagering platform. You can also watch from the comfort of your home on Spectrum Cable Channel 1250 or Fios Channel 467 and win more with Capital OTB. I'm Seth Merrow, and as serious horse players, we know that information is critical when placing a bet. With live streaming of more than 30 tracks, race replays, free past performances, and daily picks from professional handicappers, no one gives you more up-to-the-minute information than Capital OTB. Combine that with the best player awards in New York State, and you have everything a serious horse player needs to be successful. Win more with Capital OTB. Winning starts here.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Seth and Brian Nadeau. Brian's taking a look at Gulfstream. Let's continue. The Rainbow Six kicks off at race number 7. It's stakes action. The Hurricane Birdie Grade 2 event, $100,000 up for grabs. They will sprint 6.5 furlongs. Nice little, a small half dozen in here, but a nice little competitive field.
Yeah, and this is my play of the day. $300,000 gross guarantee in the Rainbow. So it's already just starting to build. They love it down here. 4 Graces, just 5-3 to the hoop, 4 Graces. Play of the day went 4 or 5 last week. So that was good because admittedly the meet has been hit or miss a little bit. So that was good. Obligatory probably will be favored in here for Mott and Jug Mott. We know her. We know the good things she did last year as a 3-year-old filly. But 4 Graces has a couple big edges over her, Seth. First and foremost, she's got 2 starts this year. Obligatory hasn't run. Secondly, Obligatory's never run against older horses. I think that's a big deal too. And then thirdly, but maybe at the top of the list, she's a lot more tactical than Obligatory, who we know is an out the back, 1-run, stone cold closer. So 4 Graces is going to get first run. She's going to be ahead off the far turn. And I love her in here. She's my best bet of the day. She's 9-5 and Obligatory's 8-5. But if you're playing horizontals, if you're playing tries, if you're playing, verticals, even if you're playing the Rainbow, if you single 4 Graces, everybody's going to use Obligatory. She's going to be on every ticket. You're going to get some leverage if you can single 4 Graces over Obligatory and play it that way. So that's how I'm doing it. Just 5-3 to the hoop. Brambleberry's got speed and might be in front. My Destiny will be chasing a little bit too, but the 2 favorites that are a month the best in here.
All right, we turn the page. Race number 8. We're looking at optional claimers. A non-winners of one other than condition, 1 mile and 3/8 on the grass.
Late pick 5 time, and I've been waiting for Call Kurt to come back in the right spot. I don't know if 1 mile and 3/8 is the right spot, Seth, but I thought this is 4 starts ago. I thought this horse ran absolutely huge. If you go back and watch the replay on December 12th, I thought this horse ran so big to be 3rd. Okay. He gets thrown to the wolves in the grade 3. Didn't happen. He was fine from a tough down inside draw when he didn't make the lead. 2 back. Then he's in the parking lot last time. Toss it out. Now we're back where he should be. I don't know about the distance. Antonio Sano takes over, wheels him back on short rest. Edgar Prado's here. Please just go to the front. Let him try to catch it because I think he can control the pace. I put him on top. Mega Yacht is going to be tough because if Call Kurt doesn't like the distance, Mega Yacht's going to take over by default and he might kick clear. Number 7, Mathiel for Maker is going to add put Lasix back on. I think that's a big plus. Risk manager has run well, and he gets a better post today. It's 8-6-7-3 to kick off the late pick 5. I'm going to spread. I'll try a price and finally get Call Kurt home.
Very good. We'll turn the page to race number 9. Another maybe special weight event, 3-year-olds, 3/4 of a mile.
Stay Restless should be tough in here. It's 1 over the 3-5. Todd's got a couple of them, but Stay Restless was so good running second on debut in a super fast race behind Nitrous Channel, 89 Buyer, if that's your jam. So I think that's a positive. You know, the rail can be tricky, Seth. I get it. But the fact that he's tactical and he has an experience edge on these, I think is big. So he'd be a single for me. Under Oath is the other Pletcher. Gets Toledo to ride here. There's some jockeys in here on Saturday, you know, taking advantage. And I think he gets on this. It's interesting. He gets on this Windstar homebred for Todd. 4th full out of the dam. The other 3 just really weren't that much. There's some bullets in the holster here, though. He looks like he's got some talent. We'll see what the board shows. Unikey. I actually played Unikey on debut. Thought he ran okay behind Nitrous Channel, behind Stay Restless. I don't know if he can turn the tables, though, Seth. He's got about 4 lengths to make up. So, you know, that's a little iffy on Unikey, but he seems to have some talent for Terry Pompey, who we know does a good job. Sappy's got Cape Trafalgar. Tab the tote board on some of these, Seth. There's a lot of firsters in here, you know, that could be live and taking money. And if you're playing the late pick 5, you can look at the double wheel pace. If you're playing the late pick 4, the board's right there in front of you. I highly suggest giving it a look.
Jeremiah has the number 10. I'm not touting the horse at all, but I just brought that up because, man, he had a horse on Friday that got up for second, and I want to say 40-1.
Yeah, and you know what? Jeremiah, as you know, and probably all our friends back home know, if Jeremiah is running a horse down here, the horse belongs, because obviously Jeremiah is in New York. We've got dirt, we've got turf, we've got Tapeta down here. The horses Jeremiah brought down, a very select few, are here to run. And, you know, you got a huge price on one today.
Yeah. In the 10th race, we're looking at the Captiva Island, $100,000 up for grabs for the Fillies and Mares 4-year-olds and up, sprinting the quick 5 furlongs on the grass.
I think AG Indy's 8's on the morning line. I'm not going to hold my breath on that, but I think we know now she's not a dirt horse. Okay, I didn't work out. Todd took a shot with her. First time in the barn, date didn't work out. What are you going to do? Well, you look at her turf form out there at Del Mar and Santa Anita for Doug O'Neill, pretty darn snappy. Now she's perfectly drawn. We know Miss Aramet's going. AG Indy with all her speed, perfectly drawn to her outside. And I just love getting back on turf. She's going to run on turf for the first time. For Todd Pletcher, there's a lot to like here. Number 4, Miss Aramet will take him as far as she can go. You saw it last time. When she gets loose and she gets brave, you're not catching her. She's so good when she controls things. I don't know if she's getting that trip today. When you go 45-1 on our turf course, Seth, that's essentially absolutely walking the dog. They were never, ever catching her. She's going to have to run fast today. She's likely going to have AG Indy to her outside the whole way. I know people want to see Toby's Hard sprint, and they all think, hey, she's a better turf sprinter than turf router. Well, you know what? Her turf route form's pretty darn good, too. And other than the race at Kentucky Downs, turf sprinting, which, as we all know, is a real funky, tough race course that tends to play to closers, I'm not so sure her turf sprints are better than these, Seth, and she's probably going to be an underlaid price too. So I'm going to play against her. It's 7-4 over the 3 for me.
Yeah, and if folks are handicapping, you mentioned it earlier, but just maybe worth mentioning again, the Pletcher horse, and you look and why is Reyes on a Pletcher horse? You know, if the horse is live, the big guns are out of town. They're over on the other side of the state today. So you'll see a few of these during the races. You mentioned it earlier, but worth mentioning with a horse like that, because I think that 8-1 looks a little generous on AG Indy with a Pletcher horse with some talent.
Yeah, without
back to the proper surface. In the 11th at Gulfstream, optional clamor, non-winners at 1 turn mile.
Let's go 3 over the 6-2, and I'm not the best bet of the day, but boy, creative again. I don't really see anybody in this field running with this horse. He looks loose and controlling. Peter Walder off the claim. That's a 19% angle. This horse likes the main track here. Only 2 wins, but is running several solid races. I don't necessarily know if this field is as good as the one he just faced. I know Luddington beat him 2 back, but I think with the flow today, Create again can get it done for Peter Walder off the claim. Critical Threat is in the mix for Brendan Walsh, and we'll take a lot of money off that starter win last time, but he's up against it in terms of the flow of the race. He doesn't have a lot of early speed. He'll be, mid-pack, but again, I just think Create again with his speed is going to control things, and I like him in here. Rebelde is moving forward for Crichton, and it, predictably won off the claim last time. I mentioned Luddington. He's a player in here, but I'm going to come back to the speed, especially, on this main track going one turn. It's very, very potent. Create again in the late double.
All right, and we will wrap things up about 6:15 on Saturday evening down at Gulfstream. It's a 1 mile optional claimer starter allowance on the grass.
Good luck. 15396. We'll take all the slots the one sheet allots me. If nothing else, Fish Mooney comes in off a win. Yes, he did it on the Tapeta. He's unproven on turf, and her lone turf start was dreadful, but she's a better horse now, especially since she's added Lasix. She's perfectly drawn. And the reason I picked her too, Seth, if you watched that race last time, the pace held in that race. The leaders were 1-2. They finished 2-3. Yet this one closed from dead last to get up. So I think it's a better than it looks effort. I'm going to come back to her for Mark Cassie. Certainly Strong Embrace off the Maker claim is a major player in here. Omi Akshidal, we'll call her. I don't know. We'll let Pete Aiello figure that out. She won, but she did it on Tapeta. So you're kind of getting that feel that a lot of the horses in here, although we're running on turf, are Tapeta horses. Hatari was my best bet of the day last time. I don't know. She was not very good. She was someone had to be second. She has no speed whatsoever. That's not good for this turf course. And this post is brutal too. So I'm fading her a little bit. Jonathan Thomas has come around a little bit of late. Bratiz is in the mix too. But let's go 15396 to wrap it up at about 6:12 in the PM.
Sounds good. We'll put Gulfstream to bed. We'll take a break and come back and shift our attention to New York and Aqueduct. Stay tuned.
Birdstone is an outside